Hi soulmates, welcome to class. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to cut this tiered gown, or another name they call is Caribbean gown or something. And to use that, this is what I'm using. I'm using a very light crepe for this gown to flow very well. You need a very light crepe, so that's what I'm using. So if this is something you wish to learn, kindly join us. In order for us to start, I'm going to cut the upper part first, and I want to cut it in form of a bustier. And if you've been following my channel, you will know that we don't cut when we cut bustier. Our front bust is usually different from the back bust, so that's what I'm going to do now. So the first thing you need to do is to measure your bust measurement. For this person, our bust is 40. So when you get your bust measurement, you divide it into two. So 40 divided by 2, you get 20. So I'm using this 40, but you use your client's bust measurement. So 40 divided by 2, I got 20. In order for me to get the front bust, I'm going to add 1 inch to that 20. So it will be 21. So that 21, I'm going to divide it by 2. So that means the front bust will be 10.5. Then let's do for the back. For the back bust now, it will be 40. That is your total bust. 40 divided by 2. I got 20 right. Then that 20, I'm going to minus 1 from inside. For the front, we added 1 inch. For the back, I'm going to remove 1 inch. So it will be 19. 19 divided by 2. So now be 9.5. If you want to know if it's correct, you will add 9.5 times 2 to give me 19 plus 10.5 times 2 to give me 21. When you add 19 plus 21, it will give you a total bust of 40. So whatever your bust is, that's the calculation you will use. So that means the front bust is different from the back bust because there's no breast in front and our back is flat. Do you understand? I hope you got it. If you did not get it, you can rewatch it. So let's start now. So now that we are done with the calculation, the next thing for us to do is to draw our borderline. So I'm going to measure 1 inch. So that's what we are going to use as our borderline. So I'm just going to measure 1 inch across the paper, then roll it. So all our measurements starting from that 1 inch mark. Do you understand? So the next thing I want to do now is to create a box, and I'm using our front bust to create it. So my front bust is 10.5. So that's what I'm doing now, 10.5. So whatever it is you got for your front bust, use it to create a box. So that's what I'm drawing now, 10.5. So I'm just going to roll it across. It means for the front, the largest circumference of the front part of the gown is the bust, and I'm using the bust. So it's 10.5. So now that I'm done, now the next thing I want to do is to impute my shoulder measurements. The person's shoulder is 16. I added half inch, so it will be 8.5. That's 16 divided by 2 is half inch. I'm going to do that 8.5. I'm going to extend it down to maybe like the chest line. So I'm just going to get 8.5. Then I will roll it down. Do you understand? So now you just roll it down. So after you have done that, you are now going to get your armhole. How do you get your armhole? Your bust divided by 6 plus 2 inches. So you are now going to draw it. So I've gotten it. My bust divided by 6 plus 2 inches. I got 8.7. So I'm just rolling it now. So now when you are done now, you're now going to create your shoulder slope. And in order to do that, from the midpoint, you go in by 2.5 inches. It is universal. In order to create your shoulder slope, go in by 2.5 inches. Then from that armhole area, come down by 1 inch for the front. 1 inch for the front. Then you just connect it together. So you go in by 2.5 inches, you come down by 1 inch for the front. So now I'm going to get my bust point, which is 11.5, under bust point, which is 14.5, then waist measurement, which is 17. So I'm getting my measurements now. So my bust point is 11.5, under bust 14.5, and from shoulder to waist 17 inches. So I'm just going to do it, and I'll mark this measurement across. After doing that, I'll come and show you. So I've gone ahead to roll it across. So I'll just indicate it with my marker. So that's the breast point, my under bust, and my waistline. So you indicate it in yours. After doing that, it's now time for me to impute that. So our nipple to nipple measurement is 7 inch. So divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm going to impute 3.5 from the breast point to the waist. I'm going to extend it up a bit because of the way this blouses without it going to extend up. So I'm just going to take my ruler now and rule it across to make it bold. I hope you understand what I'm doing. So I'll just go ahead and rule it down now, making it bold. Then I'm going to measure from the border line that I started from to the end of my armhole. Please note where my tape rule is. I'm going to measure it. You know I said it's 8.75. I'm going to divide it by 2. That's how I'm going to get the midpoint of my armhole. So I'm going to mark it. So after marking it, I'm now going to go in by 0.75 for the front. Please note it's for the front. Oh, I'm going in by 0.75. So I'm just going to connect it. I will use my curved ruler to connect it from the shoulder slope. I'll connect it to that 0.75, then I'll connect it to the end of the bust. So let's quickly do that now. If you've watched my video to this point and you've not subscribed, kindly like, share and subscribe to the channel so that you will not miss a lot of wonderful tutorial I have in stock for you. So let's continue. So I'm just going to mark it. Please take note of my tape placement in this armhole. So after I'm done with that, I'm going to go in by 5 inches, since it's like an open shoulder, like the bust area is really open. Then I'm going to come down by 7 inches. So from that borderline, I'm coming down by 7 inches. I'm just going to roll it across. There's no really, it's not a sweetheart neckline or anything, just a bit slant. So I'm using my curve rule to make it slant, but you can change the style. Can make it different. It depends on you. So I'm just going to mark it and make it bold for you guys to see it. I'm not going to extend my dart line. I'm going to extend it up. That 3.5 inch, I'm going to extend it up so that I'll be able to take in my dart from the upper part. So now after extending it now, it's time for us to impute our dart. For this person, she's not that busty. Her bust is 40 and her under bust is 35, so she's not that bursty. So from your breast point you come down by 0.75 inch, and from that your breast point go up by half an inch. That way it will not be pointy. So on the waistline you are going to hold the dart of 1 inch on both sides. That's because her bust is bust 40, she's not busty. Her under bust, go in on both sides by 1 inch and roll it down. So when I say she's not busty, it's not because her bust is 40, because some people their bust might be 40 and their other bust will be 32. So you know that that kind of person is busty. But this point, the difference between her other bust and her bust is not up to 7 inches. So she's not that busty. So I'm just going to use my curve rule and connect it. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Let it not be I say I've used talk and cover everything. So we are just going to mark it now. So you are going to use your curved rule, curve it from that 0.75 inch, curve it down, curve the other side too, and we've created our dart like that. So after doing that, it's time for us to now take our dart from the upper part. So I'm going to take the dart half inch on both sides of the dart leg, please, half inch on both sides. So you are going to connect it to that 0.5 inch way that is on top of the breast point. No, we came up by 0.5 inch for the breast point. So you connect that half inch, we remove on both sides. Connect it. Just watch what I'm doing, you will get it because I don't know how I'll explain it. Just watch it like that. That is for someone that is not that busty. There are some people that are very busty. Those kind of people, you can use 0.75 on both sides like that. So it just depends on the bust you are working with. So I'm just going to mark it to indicate that when we are trimming, we are cutting this out because it is not more useful. So after doing that now, the next thing for us to do now is to now take our bust dart. I was explaining something earlier. The difference between our front half length and our back half length is 2 inches. So that means my bust dart, I'm coming down from the breast point by 2 inches. So if you measure, if you take your measurement and you see that difference between your front half length and your back half length is 3 inches, that means your bust dart will be 3 inches. This instance, hers is 2 inches. Her front half length is 17, her back half length is 15. So the bust dart, I'm coming down by 2 inches. Do you understand? That's how you take bust dart. So I'm marking it to indicate that I'm removing that. So I'm now going to mark the 5 inches I took earlier for the neckline. I'm just going to connect it down, just the way you are seeing on this thumbnail. That's the style on the thumbnail. So I'll connect it now. So after I've gotten everything, So now I want to extend my waistline. I'll extend it out. I'm going to extend my under bust line out. I'm going to extend my chest line out. I'll extend the lines out because I'm going to replace the dart. Do you understand? So I'll do that now. So now I'm going to create a tiny triangle from that my armhole curve. The triangle will be the highest point will be on that where that my under bust that my bust dart is. I'm just going to create it's just a tiny triangle. It's very important you create something like this and mark it so that your pattern will not be short when you are closing up the dart. So you just come out by 1 inch on that bust dart area and just create it. So when you do that, you're now going to impute your waist measurement, your waist divided by 4. Then you are going to replace the dart. So the waist divided by 4, I've gotten it. I'm now going to replace the dart, which is 2 inches. So waist 8.75 and I'll add 2 inches. I'll do the same for the under bust. In this instance, this customer's waist and under bust is the same thing. So I'm just going to replace the dart and I will mark it. So after marking it now, you will go on top to add on the chest line point. You are going to mark the dart and you replace it. When I marked it, I got half an inch, so I'm going to replace it. Then on that over bust, that 1 inch we took out, you know, it was half inch on both sides, so you are going to extend that yoke. You extend it out by half an inch, so you now redraw your armhole curve. Do you understand? You're now going to redraw it. You connect that half inch to that 1 inch and you redraw it. That way, when you make the fabric, the up will not be shorter than the down. So you're just going to replace it now. So it's not time for us to cut it. So we are going to close our bust dart. But in order for us to close our bust dart, you know, we have to open our waist dart first. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to open my waist dart. I'll open it to maybe like the breast point. Then I cannot cut out. Please look at the way I'm cutting out the pattern. If you note that I'm taking care of that triangle, there's a reason why I put it there. You will still understand it now. If not, if you don't do it like this, by the time you close up the dart, your pattern will be shorter. Then make note, please, I've not added any allowance. I've not added sewing allowance. I've not added ease allowance. Do you understand? We are going to add it on the fabric. So you are now going to close your bust dart. Take your masking tape and just close it up. So after closing your bust dart, close it very well so that it will be firm. You are now going to now redraw your from your bust area. You are now going to connect it to your under bust. Now you are now going to connect it. If you connect it now, it will connect well. And then you cut it straight, you will discover that by the time you close your bust dart, the pattern will be smaller than your actual measurement. So now that I've closed it up, I can now cut it out. Do you understand? I hope you understand what I'm doing. And if you don't understand, please drop a comment. I can redo another tutorial featuring a boss that is that like this. So I'm just going to now cut it out. Now that I'm done with cutting it, this is how it looks like now. So in order for us to, I don't want them to be joining from the yoke to the fabric, the pattern itself. So I want to gum the yoke part to the main body of the fabric. In order for us to do that, we have to avoid gaping. And how can you avoid gaping? So you are going to, for the front, you are going to go in on the bigger side, like it's the main bodies of your pattern. You are going to go in by, you mark 1 inch. Do you understand? You are going to mark one. If you don't do this and you gum it straight up, like you gum it straight up and you sew it, you will discover that your fabric, your clothes will be gaping. So I'm trying to avoid that now. So I'm going to see the way I'm placing it now. 1 inch after my armhole. So when we are done, we're going to retrim it. So I'll just use masking tape to hold it together. So that one, it will form one pattern. That means I've joined my yoke to my main bodice. So that's how you do it, and this is how it looks like. So I've just used masking tape to gum it now, and this is how it looks like, the center front, the side front and the center front. So I've gummed the yoke to the side front. So this is how it looks, and I've also avoided that keeping effect. So now let's cut the back now. So for the back, I've gone ahead to create my 1 inch border line, and from the side I've measured out 3 inch, which will act as my zipper line. So from that 3 inches mark, I'm going to create the full length of the fabric for the back. No, the full length is 15, since the front one is 17. The full length, the half length for the back rather, shoulder to half length for the back is 15 inches. So that's what I'm marking. So like I said earlier, the difference between the front and the back is 2 inches. Front is 17, back is 15. That is why our bust that was 2 inches. Please don't forget. So I'm just going to mark the full length now. After doing that, I will just draw it across in order for us to start. And please note that all my measurement is starting from that line I marked where the zipper will start from. That is where my measurement will start from. So please take note of it. So now after doing that, we're going to impute shoulder measurement, which is 8.5 inches. So after imputing it, I will impute it down and just connect it. So after doing that now, you will just connect it. So after connecting it now, you're going to impute your armhole measurement, which is bust divided by 6 plus 2 inches, which is 8.7. Remember it was 8.7, so I'm just going to impute that 8.7. Same for the back, you're going to impute it. So that means the only measurement that is the same from the front and back pattern is that armhole measurement, which is 8.7. So now you are going to use your back bust to create a box. You are going to use your back bust to create a box. So her back bust is 9.5 inches. So I'm just creating a box of 9.5 inches, just the way we did for the front. The difference is we use the front bust for the front pattern, and we're using the back bust for this back pattern. So I'm just going to connect everything together. So now after connecting everything together, it's time for us to impute our measurement. I hope you understand it so far. If you don't understand, please rewatch it. If you get it, you in fact your bustier will come out very beautiful. So now that we're done, let's create our shoulder slope. You go in by 2.5 inches as usual. So when you want to come down for the back, come down by 0.75 inch. That's the difference. For the front, we came down by 1 inch. For the back, we are coming down by 0.75 inch because our back is higher than our front. So you connect it together. So now I want to extend that chest line. I want to extend it across. So how did we get the chest line? It's 8.7, right? That's our bust divided by 6 plus 2. So I'm just going to measure that 8.7 to be for it to be accurate, and I want to extend it. I want to connect. So I'm going to use my ruler now to connect it so that it will be, I will extend it across the pattern. So after doing that now, the next thing I want to do is to mark it to be sure. So this is our chest line and our waistline. So I want to get our under bust now. For the under bust, in order to get the under bust for the back, you are going to start your measurement from 2 inches because the difference between our front and back is 2 inches. So for example, the difference is 3 inches for yours. You start your measurement by from 3 inches. Please note where I'm keeping my tape rule. So I'm now going to mark my under bust point. It's not really compulsory, but I'm just showing you in case of next time. So I'm starting from 2 inches. So the measurement is starting from 2 inches. Assuming the difference between my front and back is 4 inches, I know it's extreme. For example, I'm starting my own measurement from 4 inches. Hope you understand. So I'm just going to indicate it that this is my under bust line. You don't really need it for the back, but I just put it there in case you want to use it. So now that we're done with it like that, we've made our chest line, our under bust, and our waistline. It's time for us to now impute our dart. So our dart is 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5 inches. I'm going to impute it. So our dart will extend to the chest line. That was why I made that line. I made sure it ran across. So I'm just going to extend it from the chest line to the waist, and I'll mark it. Do you understand? So now after doing that, the next thing we want to do now is to now take in our dart. Our dart is half inch on both sides. You can use 0.5 inch on both sides, but it's a bag that from that chest line you come down by half an inch. Some people come down by 1 inch, depends on you. So you come down by half an inch and you mark it. So it's going to form a triangle. So after marking it now, I'm just going to indicate it that I'm removing this part of it. Do you understand? So our back pattern is taking shape now. So the next thing we want to do now is to measure from just we are going to measure our armhole. So we are going to divide that 8.7 divided by 2 in order for us to get the midpoint of our armhole. After getting the midpoint, we are going to go in by 0.5 inch for the back. Remember the front went in by 0.75. For the back, we are going in by 0.5 inch. So you connect it from the top, that shoulder slope, connect it to that 0.5 inch. Then you are now going to connect it to the bust measurement. Do you understand? The edge of that box. You are going to connect it and your armhole is ready. So after doing that now, the next thing for us to do is to measure our neckline. So you go in by 5 inch, just the way you did for the front, and you connect it down. However, I don't want it to be this deep, so I'm going to use 6 inches. So from that borderline, I came down by 6 inches and I just roll it across. So if you want the back of yours to be much more deeper, like 7 inch, you can use 7 inches. But by the time you use 8 inches, just know that there's a possibility to show your bra line, your bra strap. So I'm just going to connect it now. So the next thing you want to do now is to extend that your dart line, extend it up. That's that 3.5 inches line, extend it up and just mark it. So now the next thing you want to do now is to impute your measurement. So your waist divided by 4. I'm just going to impute it now. So you are going to add your dart, any allowance you took out for the dart, you replace it. You do the same for the underbust. Underbust divided by 4, you mark it, and anything you added for the underbust, you replace it. So you are just going to connect it to, since you did not remove anything from the chest line, that's why you did not add anything. So you are just going to connect those 3 lines together. I hope you understand. Please, if you've not subscribed at this point, kindly give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So now after doing that, now it's time for us to now eliminate our zipper bulge. So now on your waistline, go in by 1 inch first. On your waistline, go in by 1 inch. So you see that 1 inch mark, you take your ruler and connect it to the beginning of your pattern. That's the neckline place. Connect it to that point. Just watch what I'm doing, you understand. So when you connect it, it's going to be slant because you came in by 1 inch for the waistline. So that new line is where you will start your zipper line from. So you are going to ignore the former line. Do you understand? So before you forget, please replace that 1 inch you took out. Replace it at the edge. Then for the underbust, mark any measurement you have there. It should be half an inch. Replace it too. Then on the chest line too, mark the allowance that is there that you are taking out. Replace it at the sides. If you don't replace it, your pattern will be short by the time you are done and it will affect it. So you are just going to replace it and you are going to reconnect those points together. So reconnect it now. Do you understand? Please, that's the thing. Whatever you take out from the zipper bulge, replace it at the sides. So now the next you want to do now is to now from that slanted point, that is where your zipper measurement will now start from. So I'm just extending the line so that I'll be able to understand it. Do you understand? So from that slanted point, whatever allowance you are taking for your zipper allowance, you are not going to impute it. In this instance, I'm using 1 inch, so I'm not going to measure 1 inch. So that will be my new zipper allowance. So when I'm done, you will notice that it's slanted. So that's how you eliminate your zipper bulge. Do you understand? So I'm just going to mark it now. So we're just going to cut everything out now. So after cutting it out now, the next thing I want to do is to just open the dart line. Do you understand? So I'm just going to cut the dart line open. So I don't want the dart to show at the back, so I'm just going to close up the pattern. I've removed my dart now. So I'm just going to close up the pattern with my masking tape. Just calm down and close it up. You just use your masking tape to gum it. When you close it up, it's going to form one pattern. So when you are sewing it, you don't need to put that anymore because you've already eliminated the dart on paper. Do you understand? So I'm just going to close it up. So after closing it up, this is how it looks. So I want to eliminate that gaping. I don't want the back to gape also. So for the back now, you are going to move your pattern. You are going to come in by half an inch. Remember, for the front we came in by 1 inch. That's because of how much that we are removing for the front pattern. For the back, you come in by half an inch. Then you now gum your yoke to your main pattern itself. So by the time you finish sewing it, you discover that they won't be gaping. If you don't do it this way, when you finish sewing it, the front and the back will be gaping. Do you understand? So now you can see you formed a new pattern without that because we already removed the dart earlier. So this is the back and this is the front. You see how beautiful it is? So it's now time for us to transfer all this pattern to fabric. So let's do that now. So now I brought out my fabric. I'm using a total of 4 yards to make it. I know that it's 2-layered gown. So for the last layer, the volume may be more than the one in the middle. So for the last layer, I'm using the whole 4 yards. Like the length, it will be 36 times 4 for the whole length, that how wide it is, so that the gathers will be much very well. Then for the length, from your waist measurement to the whole length, you divide it by 2. So half will be for the middle, half will be for the down part. Do you understand? Or whatever how it is you want to divide it, but just make sure that the down part, the length of it, the volume, it will be more than the middle part. So I'm using the whole 4 yards for the down part. So I'm just cutting out the length of the down part. So after I've cut it out now, so what I did was I measured from 17. The customer's full length is 16 inches. From her shoulder to her waist is 17 inches. So from 17, so the first gathers will start from 17. It will end at 39 inches. So from 39, the second layer will start. So 60 minus 39 will give us 21. So the down part, the down layer is 21 inches, but the length is by 4 yards. Do you understand? So I've cut it out like that. So I'm going to do the same for the other one. So for the middle one, the length is 23 inches, it's 22 inches. I added 1 inch, so it will be 23 inches. But how long it is not as long as that first one. You know, I told you the first one, I used the whole 4 yards. So the second one, I'm using 3 yards. So the difference is 1 yard. So the higher it is, the less it becomes. Do you understand? So that it will gather. So for the first layer, I'm using 3 inches. While the down part, I'm using 4 yards rather. So the first layer I'm using 3 yards and the down part I'm using 4 yards. For the length is 23 inches. So I'm just going to cut it out now. Then I'll use the remaining fabric to cut the bodice of our cloth. So now I'm placing my back pattern on the fabric, is on fold. So now we can now add our sewing allowance and our ease allowance for the side. So any amount you want to add, but I'm adding 2 inch so that it will not be bulky. If you cut your pattern very well, you can add 1.5 inch and it will still come out well. So that's what I'm going to do now. So after marking it, whatever I add at the sides for the back, that's the same way I'm adding to the front pattern. Do you understand? So I'm just going to cut it out. But when I'm cutting it, I'll make sure I add half an inch on the shoulder area. So after doing that, the next thing we want to do now is to just cut out this whole pattern. So you are going to do the same for the front pattern. So on the side, you are going to add 2 inches or whatever allowance you added for the back, you add it same for the front. Then when you are cutting it, the center, the middle, where that is for the front, you are going to add half an inch. That is to join the side front and the center front together. So you are going to add half an inch. Apart from that, all other things are constant. Then you are going to add half an inch on the shoulder area. Do you understand? So now let's cut it out. So now that we're done, you just mark it so you know the front and the back. So you are going to cut the center front. So the only thing you are adding for the central front is just half an inch to add to join the darts together. So that's what you're adding. We've already added all the allowance. Then you are going to add half an inch on top. Do you understand? And that's all. So you are going to cut everything out now. So you are going to indicate it so it will be easy for you to know the front and the back. So I'm going to cut lining on the upper part too. I'll cut lining on the center front, side front, and I'm also going to cut lining at on the back too. When I'm done, we are now going to know how we're going to couple everything together. So this class is already long already. So next week we are going to learn how we're going to sew everything together. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.